I have to be careful
Not
doing
quite
that.
yet.
Can you see my knee?
Yes. No.
Yes. No. It's a preview.
Oh, now
Starting
we're starting.
live.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not quite.
thank you for joining us. Dr. Gwaine, thank you for joining. Thank you for
Of
writing
course.
the blog post,
Yeah,
which
course.
everybody got to read, of course, last week when it came out on Monday. Is what you're waiting all weekend to read, right?
That's what we all, bated
Yeah.
breath.
Yeah, I go to bed Sunday night going, when I wake up, I'll have an email from Dr. Gwaine and I'll get to read.
First thing in the morning.
I will get to read
Yeah.
it. Yep. So this week we're talking about Dr. Gwaine's post from last week. What was the title of it? I remember it had a sheep on it, your picture.
Oh, yes, it did. It was Off-Duty Doctors' Rules of Engagement.
Rules of Engagement. That's a
Yes.
good title for it.
Actually, you came up with that. Well, you helped me come up with that. I was bouncing names
Okay.
off you.
So I have.
Oh,
Hey,
we
no,
need to
that
turn-
we know audio works
Yeah, I need to turn it
because we
down
don't have
here.
all the people writing in.
There we go.
By the way, if you're
Now it's
listening to
working.
this on a podcast or you're watching it after the live recording, you will not necessarily relate to the people who are able to comment while this is live. They can actually see us talking and responding to their comments while this happens. If you want to be able to experience that thrill of being able to
It's a thrill.
be a part of this community as it's happening, then be sure you're subscribed on YouTube and then set up your notifications. So use that little bell icon when you're on the Auburn Medical Group channel so that it'll notify you when we go live.
Right.
But usually, well, we're not every week, but it's 4:30 on Monday afternoons when we do it.
When we do it. Most weeks.
Yeah, most weeks.
Most weeks.
And
Except when we're not here. Or when there's a Monday holiday.
And if you want to get special on Monday holiday, yeah, that's true. If you want to get even more kind of, I don't know if I'd say behind the scenes, not safe for work material,
NSFW.
NSFW, then you can be on my Patreon, Dr. Vaughn, that Patreon, where people like Lindsay Antwine, one of our patrons, and Boo Boo Kitty and the rest, oh, and Pamela Schramke, can find things like the podcast that didn't go out to everybody else. There was a little different
Us
version. that we
joking
made.
around, yes.
Yeah.
Along those lines, Marcela Gonzalez says, Hola, cariños.
I hope that's nice.
Desde Chile.
Oh,
Chile.
Chile.
Hey, international
Welcome,
audience.
Chile. We are glad to have you here.
Bienvenidos.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. And hola.
Yeah.
We'll cover the whole
Yeah.
spectrum there. So we have rules of engagement. Yes. This was inspired because you had how many? 5 calls that weekend?
Yeah, there were
I shouldn't call them calls.
informal,
It was in person.
consultations, I guess.
Consultations.
I don't know what you call
People
it.
actually right there asking you to be a doctor to them. And
Right. Yeah, so I was on a vacation of sorts. My family and I go to a family camp put on by my in-laws' church for a weekend. We go Friday through Sunday, and it's a time to get away. We live out of a tent. Have a bunch of people there, and people decided to have medical issues.
Have emergencies.
Yeah, so
Let's go up to Truckee and have an emergency.
yeah, why not? They were like one boy. He was trying to jump over something and actually dislocated his shoulder.
Nice.
It was out too, and then it went back in, fortunately, so I didn't have to do anything to him.
That had happened before. Was this a repeat?
It was the other shoulder. He'd done it to his other shoulder before. So this was his.
Do you suspect either Stan Lowe's?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, there's not really any family history or anything. I know the family fairly well. So that was one thing, and then some minor stuff, just needing some first aid, and then another guy got a cut on his lower chin when trying to jump for a football.
Did he have a double chin? You said it was his lower chin.
Oh yeah, sorry, on his chin,
On his lower chin.
the lower part of his chin.
I have lower cheeks. Was it below that?
The lower part of his chin. Let's say that. He was trying to jump for a football, diving into the water into the Truckee River.
That's commitment.
And hit his chin like on a rock that was just under the water, and it split open. He needed stitches. I sent him to the ER.
How do you
and
check the
came right back.
depth before you dive if you're diving for a football?
Very
Very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. You don't, I guess. Huh? That's why this happened. He didn't even catch the ball. That's the bummer.
But he was able to come back. He had his stitches in, although
Yep.
he's probably given advice not to go in the river with the
Yeah, even
wound.
though he did later. Anyways,
Even though he did. Did he
we
jump?
floated. He was just floated down. He didn't submerge.
He jumped off the rocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
No submerging.
All right.
Well,
It sounds like you had fun though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a joy, and those
Yeah.
are fun things. I mean, helping out
Yeah.
wherever I can. Those are all fine. The issue came when somebody later on came up to me, somebody I don't even know. So, well, I guess let's preface it with this. They were having kind of these mock awards where they'd give out these little fake medals for funny things, and mine was the most likely to save a life because I had been needed so much that weekend. And then apparently some guy who I don't know saw that and thought it'd be a good idea to just ask me a medical question just at lunch. He wouldn't have known I was even a doctor probably, but came up to me and asked me about some rib pain he was having, and I felt a little annoyed about it. I was just like, come on, I'm on vacation with my family. This is something, I'm happy to help when it's an emergency or somebody needs some care like that, but this is just some guy who had some pain who apparently didn't want to wait to see his doctor on Monday.
And that one was, I think, the one that brought up most. Well, that's the one that inspired the
Yes.
post.
Right. Yeah, it was.
When to engage the doctor.
Right. Exactly.
It's the one that brought up the most comments on the blog post.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the one I did this afternoon?
No, I didn't.
I wrote a paragraph.
Oh, excellent. Very good. I didn't read it. I'll have to look it up.
Well, for the benefit
Summarize, please.
For the benefit of everybody here, I got into the liability in much more explanation than somebody would get just reading through the blog post or the comments.
Sure. Yeah, that is something.
First of all, when we talk about anything medical with you, we are actually practicing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
If you're presenting signs or symptoms, and we're doing some kind of assessment and then talking about it, there's a practice of medicine going on there. So it's one thing to talk about medical topics like we do on the show. It's another thing for it to be, hey, give us some, even the smallest degree of advice on a case, a person. Well, now that's the practice of medicine. That's regulated by a license under the medical board.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that comes with that. First of all, when we comment on something, we are responsible for knowing all that we can know, for getting a full past medical history, medication history.
Right.
Sometimes you need to know allergies to medicines. You need to know if a person could be pregnant or not, because that factors in because of one of your examples.
Yeah.
Then, for example, if it's a head injury, like that chin injury actually is a head injury.
Technically.
If a kid falls down and hits his head and he's dazed, we're not sure if he got knocked out or not. We're not sure how high he was when he fell on it. He doesn't really remember it, so he doesn't know. Well, now all of a sudden we look at him and say, "You look good." We want to.
Yeah.
We want to say it'll probably be fine. Well, then as folks are driving home and he's got declining level of consciousness, we're hauled into court and held at the standard of somebody in an emergency department with a CAT scanner, which would have found the bleed that wasn't obvious on our initial exam. And yes, we could give all of the, this is what to look out for, and if this happens, do this, and we do. But why are you putting all that liability on us when we're just trying to be out and enjoying ourselves? And here's the other thing. We also, when we've seen this happen, in fact, it was part of what one of the Dr. Sears, plural of Sears, got in trouble for. Documentation.
Yes. Yeah, and that's one of the things I mentioned in there.
When it comes up before the state board, they want to see the record. And if it's not complete, and if your exam that you documented is not complete, because that's what he got in trouble for. Mm-hmm. He didn't write down every element of a neurological exam. He said he did it, but it's not in the record.
Right.
And so the state board got him for it. So now we're responsible for not documenting all this stuff. So the person pulls you aside and says, "Hey, doc, such and such." Well, every little thing coming out of their mouth, we're responsible for having a record of that somewhere. So we have to go write this down and keep that record for at least 7 years, if not lifetime.
Right.
So I know I'm taking it to the extreme. I understand because I'm a bit anal here with all this. Maybe my mom won't watch, so I can say that. a bit obsessive compulsive about it. I know. I take it to the extremes. That's my personality. That's why my patients come to me, because I am compulsive about doing things right when it comes to their lives. But there will be a certain case that happens on a certain vacation somewhere where it does go bad.
Right.
And when that happens, it's going to affect somebody for the rest of their life, or actually possibly threaten their life. That's how important medicine is. It's a little different than a lot of other lines of work where somebody asks you a question off hours. The level of responsibility that we're supposed to be held up to it's different. It's regulated by a state board. It's not beyond that. It's actually people's life and health and
we're dealing with
disability or not. So forgive me for being a bit uptight when somebody asks me a medical question after hours. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I always have that in the back of my mind. Okay.
So that's the
I always have in the back of my mind, is this something that's going to decompensate or go downhill when I leave or when they move on? And truly, there's no way for me to check up on that. I try to check up on things as much as I can. I checked up on those people who came to me, throughout the weekend, making sure they were doing all right.
Good.
Because I could. Good. But yeah, in some cases, I'm unable to do that, and I always try to give, hey, if you're any declined, see your doctor, get this checked out. Somebody who knows you. We have had people like,
oh my goodness,
saying
look
things.
At all those comments.
Yeah, people saying hi, like Bianca Dye and T Ling. I hope I'm saying that right. Miranda, Bonnie Rodriguez, we'll say hi back. Diane Almanon, hello. And then, people say, Brio, yes, we do need our downtime. It is nice to get away from everything.
Thank you, Brio. Appreciate that.
Even with people around, it's nice to get away from the profession. Tarina Jensen says, hello, Dr. Mark. Long time no see. I don't know if
Tarina Jensen. Hello.
Yeah. Bria says, the world's gone mad, especially in America. That's her comment on the matter.
Okay, I guess I pushed it a little too hard there with the seriousness. Sorry. I'll back off a little. We'll be a little more lighthearted.
And then Real Ruler 2112 says, the first time catching a live stream.
Hey, welcome Real Ruler 2112. I used a ruler for a picture that I texted to Dr.
NSFW version.
NSFW, yes. That was only a text to him.
So
I can't run for senator now.
No, I came up with 5 basic rules.
5.
Let's see if I can remember that.
Let me see if I can help.
Because this was 2 weeks ago.
Visual aids here.
What?
No, you just keep going. Okay.
5. One was, if you're my patient, these aren't in any order, but if you're my patient and you see me at Walmart or somewhere, just hold off on your medical questions. Call me at the office. Again, this was for the documentation part. That way we can document things. I have the record in front of me. I know everything about you. If you're a patient of mine, or if you're a patient of your doctor's and you see him in Walmart, hold off on your medical questions, unless it's an emergency, obviously. Another one was, if it's an emergency, feel free to contact me. But if it's an emergency, call 911. Emergencies, even though I'm a doctor, I am not, if I'm just hanging out at a camp or wherever, I am not equipped to take care of emergencies. There is EMT and paramedics and emergency personnel who have the proper equipment to do that, to shock somebody if their heart is not beating, to take an EKG to see if they're having a heart attack, to do things like that. I'm not equipped to do that if it is an emergency.
It says 5. Except it says home and guest now instead of Mark and Quinn.
Oh, do I get 5 points?
No, because you're going over 5 things.
Oh. That would be the big thing. If it's an emergency, call 911. Even if there's a doctor there, call 911 first. If there's stroke symptoms, heart attack symptoms, call 911. What was another one? If I don't know you, personally, I would prefer you not ask me a medical question. If you know I'm a doctor, but we're not friends or family, I'm more often than not going to say, hey, call your doctor.
Don't you like your job? Don't you like
I enjoy my job.
Topics?
I enjoy working at my job when I'm at my job, and even helping out when it's an emergency or needed. But
so you're just telling these people you don't know you don't like them?
Yeah. If I don't know you, don't. I mean,
seriously, don't.
Yeah. Come up to me, say hi, say hey. I saw your YouTube show, and it's fun. We can chat about that, but don't come up and say.
I'm a patient
hey.
of Dr. Chima, but can you take care of my elbow injury?
Come get my earwax out, Doc. Yeah, and let's see, what were the other ones? Those were 3. One of them was because somebody had actually accosted you. I'll use that word at a funeral of all places.
Okay, that was number 5 because I told you.
Please tell me the story about that. Yeah,
you didn't write it. Well, maybe you did write it the way I said, but
not specifically.
I think you were not specific as do not do it at my dad's funeral.
Yeah, it was.
If I'm at my father's funeral and I'm speaking, please do not approach me before and try to talk to me about your latest lab test. There.
And even if you're a patient, right? Yeah, because I think that was the case there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And even if you are a patient, still don't do it at my father's funeral. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. Want to know about, that's their handle. They have a question. Do you feel frustrated that the regulations make you feel annoyed when getting a question off duty?
Well, okay, so they're probably referring to all that stuff that I just said about the state board holds you up to the same standard. You know, it doesn't change what the reality is. We are still responsible to that level because we do have the knowledge and we do have the understanding that certain things need to be checked or could be wrong. So the regulations don't change the reality that it's still our responsibility with this information that we have been entrusted by medical school and society and the state board.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Boo Boo Kitty's here.
Yeah, Boo Boo.
Hey.
Boo Boo.
Thank you. You too.
Yes.
Boo Boo Kitty is one of my patrons, and I want to shout out to her. She gets a little shout out every post I do because she's at the Night of the Roundtable level. You can check those out.
That's right.
Yeah. It's nice.
And Lindsay Antwine gets a shout out on videos because she is at that level on the Dr. Vaughn Patreon. Right.
Let's see here.
And Boo Boo also really helped with what's now on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
The Madison one pilot, Boo Boo Kitty, was very instrumental in making that happen. So when you watch it, it's because of Boo Boo that it's able to have what it has in it. Yeah. Thank you, Boo Boo. And I do still owe you a Google Hangout from April.
Let's see here. We have the duty of care even if they're involved in an accident. I think that's responding to something else. Yes, because I am a doctor, I do feel a duty. If there's an accident or emergency, I will be there. I will help out. Yeah, absolutely. I do feel a duty there. And I think there actually is some laws regulating the... what's it called?
The Good Samaritan?
Good Samaritan laws where you can't be...
Well, it's only for doing...
Probably emergency type situations.
Yeah, first aid until somebody can take over.
Right.
And that's the whole thing, where we have such rapid response EMS that it's so rare that I'm going to contribute anything. If there's a car accident or something right in front of me... I could put pressure on a wound and tell somebody to keep their head still.
And maybe start some CPR. That's it.
Until the EMS gets there and can put them on a backboard and transport them and put in an IV. It's really limited what I contribute until the guys whose job it is to do first line care, first responders, show up.
I think people are starting to write in all of their off-duty things, like Bonnie Rodriguez. I think you actually commented on the blog about this, that your husband is a police officer and got a lot of questions off-duty.
She was like one of the first people to comment.
Yeah, appreciate the comment, by the way. Yeah. Somebody's a psychotherapist, Saya Krebs Brandfast, hopefully I'm saying that right, gets questions all the time. Psychotherapist, I think that would maybe cross the line there personally. But she says she loves her job, so maybe she enjoys those questions. But
Sally, I think you're a sociopath.
Yeah. You're borderline personality disorder. Congratulations. Let me go document this.
Oh, if I had a dime for every time I say that.
So psychotherapy, somebody else said, like some job they had where they get asked questions. But anyways, people are bringing up all their stories. And most of them seem like they're on the same position that we are, that they get a little annoyed.
We do often talk to Ethan. We're always talking to him about what happens if somebody asks for a grilled cheese animal style.
When he's not
With-
at In-N-Out.
Yeah, that's crossing the line with him, isn't
That's
it?
crossing the line.
Yeah,
Go
maybe I
make
should-
me a burger.
Maybe I should think about that.
Oh, and there's somebody who is a computer guy. They get asked things all the time. How to fix, remove a virus, fix their printer, all these things.
Yeah, like
That would be really annoying.
I got the
think
blue
so.
scream of death. What'd I do wrong? Okay.
I don't know. Call your computer guy.
Same thing.
I
I
don't-
need a full history and examination.
That's right. Yeah. I
And
don't think
allergies.
there's a good Samaritan law
And
for
is it
computer
possible
guys.
the computer's pregnant?
That's right. Always. It's a virus. It's a virus.
Can I jump back to that about in your blog post where he's talking about somebody on an airplane? Oh, can my wife or girlfriend take this Sudafed?
Oh, yeah.
If she's early in pregnancy and doesn't know it, and you say, oh yeah, go ahead and take the Sudafed, because you don't have a reference on the airplane with you to look up to find out it can be a teratogen, meaning it can cause birth defects,
Right.
and then that ends up happening. Well, it may not be because of the Sudafed, but nonetheless, you should have known because you're a doctor, and you shouldn't have said
Right.
it'd probably be okay, even though it probably would be okay. And so now you're responsible for that birth defect. I'm taking it to an extreme, huh? Are you laughing at me?
No, I was
Oh,
laughing
okay.
at Boo Boo Kitty at her comments. She
Oh,
wants to be.
she's always.
She said, "Come on, read my comment." And it was somebody who is off duty. She said, "Well, I'm really sexy, and I get questions all the time about." Never mind. That was her comment.
Obviously, because I'm called Boo Boo Kitty.
I get those questions too. Just saying. Yeah.
What's that got to do with the video?
All right. Yeah. Let's see.
Is that it for comments? Comments and or
Let's
questions?
see if I can read this one quickly before I just start reading it. Let's see. Follow-up question. Does it make sense that from the perspective of the patient, it can seem that there is too much bureaucracy
It can
between
seem that
patient
way.
and doctor? Oh, sure, it can seem that way.
Yeah, in certain instances it is. But
Yeah.
it's not because of bureaucracy we don't want to be addressed.
No, yeah, that's.
I mean, that is the documentation thing.
that's
but,
that part of it.
But why? Why is the documentation thing?
Because of that, because people get in trouble. What do you mean? I
What's
don't
the reason
understand.
for requiring that we document our interactions with patients?
Mostly for legal issues.
Not because it might make a difference later on when somebody wants to see the patient that they know what
That
the
too.
situation was before. Yeah.
But yeah, most people say documentation is not for yourself; it's for the next doctor or the lawyer.
It's for me because I can't remember what I did last week or
I can
month
remember to
ago,
a
or-
certain extent, but yeah, documentation
Yeah, see,
helps me.
did I go up with the lisinopril or did I go up with the amlodipine
Did you
last
know that?
time?
Speaking of documentation, I don't know if you saw this, but there are new proposed regulations with I think we were talking about this
with Medicare?
with Medicare that are going to reduce the amount of documentation that
So
you
you can
need.
focus more on
Just changes.
medical decision making, for
Right.
example, which is going to be
Yeah,
really helpful
new
for
developments
the
and
next exam
decision making.
too.
Which is kind of interesting. We'll see where that goes and
That'll be
what
interesting.
kind of
Yeah.
changes that makes for us. I don't know. With the medical record and dictation, I feel like it doesn't make documentation that much of a hassle for me, except when I don't have access to it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, like when I'm on call and try to do something on my phone, or when I'm.
It's more like when you have the patient who spurts out like 5 or 6 different things.
Oh,
and,
man.
And you just go ahead and
You can't
do
even type it.
the assessment
Yeah.
and write some orders to kind of put out these little fires that they're being spit at you.
Mhm.
And then, then you have to go somehow mold all of these things into a cohesive history. That's a challenge.
That is hard.
But
Yeah,
that's not
hard
necessarily-
to even like 20 minutes after the exam try to remember all
Oh, my
that
goodness.
stuff.
It's not so much
to put inside.
bureaucracy requiring record keeping.
It's just trying to
Yeah.
cover all your bases when somebody's
trying
doing a lot of stuff. Let's see. Tarina Jensen says, "Dr. Mark, you are cute." Now,
Yes,
I
thank
must
you.
say that 2 comments later, she said, "By the way,
very astute observation.
by the way, I'm engaged. I'm getting married next year. Hey,
Who is-
congratulations."
Wait,
This is Tarina Jensen.
Wait, they make it
the
a
one
point.
who thinks you're cute.
They make it a point to tell me I'm cute, and make it a point to tell
Say
me that
she's
you're engaged.
In case there was any reciprocity there.
Oh,
We don't know. Tarina is.
I'm
cute,
married.
I
I'm
guess,
married, so
yeah.
it's
I
moot.
guess it
Yeah.
is a moot point.
Happily.
But we're getting, lots of comments here.
Actually, you know what?
We got
We've been married for 28 years, and I think it gets happier as it goes.
That means you're in a good marriage. I enjoy mine more every year.
Yeah.
I tell people I have.
That's my wish for it. What's her name? Tarina?
Tarina.
That's my wish for you.
Wish you the best.
It just gets happier as it goes.
Yeah. I've been married 12 years.
And a very good observation.
Yep. I've had 5 years of wedded bliss. The other 7, we had kids. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I love my children. They're wonderful.
I like that.
Let's see. Yet another follow-up question. Want to know about that? That's the handle. How do you see this discussion in the context of tort reform? Well, that's kind of getting a little off subject. I don't know if you want to go into that.
No, that's. It's.
Maybe we should do something these days.
It's tangentially related. Yes.
Yes.
Let's.
Yeah, we can go down rabbit holes.
I don't feel like thinking along those lines today. But yeah, it's a worthy subject. So I don't mean to downplay the interest in that.
Yeah. Thank you for all your comments, guys. This has been
a really good
great.
one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know that there is an Auburn Medical Group podcast, it does exist on, not Stitcher. You said Stitcher last time.
I did, but it's not on that.
We'll see if Spotify picks it up.
Hopefully.
I filled out the initial questionnaire for that today, but you can find it on iTunes and Google Podcast. What's the Google thing for podcasts or Android?
Google Music, I think, is what it's under.
Anyway,
but yeah, Google Podcasts actually has
different places you can find podcasts. You can find Auburn Medical Group. It may be called Podcast Auburn Medical Group. It may be just called Auburn Medical Group. We're trying to get a consistent title on all the streams. So go ahead and if you do find it, put a 5-star rating wherever you're getting it from. That's going to help to get more people to be able to see it. So appreciate that.
Quick shout out again to Boo Boo Kitty. And my other Patreons.
You were fulfilling your obligation
there. Yeah. Appreciate it. And if you have not checked it out, go check out drgreenknight.com and subscribe while you're there. Just one email a week, and you'll just do one post a week. So try to stay up to date.
Yeah, it's good.
I think so.
You do a good job with it. And then the YouTube channel, did you know we put out a video last Friday?
No, we did.
It was a blackhead video.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Art's blackhead.
I watched
blackhead
that.
art.
Yes, I did watch that.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat because we hadn't done a procedure video in I don't know how long, and it was
been
very well received, even though it was just 2 little blackheads. But people liked it. So those of you who really, the popaholics, that's out there for you. If you just need to watch every one there is, there's a couple of them on that video that came out last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so do stay subscribed and certainly write in with comments and questions. We welcome that, and we love speaking with you, just not when we're off duty and not making a video about your personal medical.
It's because I'm at work. That's how we
I
get
did want to do one shout out.
Okay, shout out all you want.
Okay, I got to meet Michael Rowe of the 77s yesterday, and that was a bit of a thrill for me because he was the guy who produced First Strike's album, Rock of Offense, like one of my favorite albums of my teen years, and that I still, whenever I can find the music on the internet from it, because the tape wore out, I love listening to it. So that was really cool. I was like...
And those of us born in the next generation, just nod and say, yeah.
It was exciting.
I guess that would be like me meeting.
Okay, if that little...
You too.
If that little moment I described to you means anything to you, please make sure you put something in the comments to let me know I'm not alone in loving the music of Michael Rowe with First Strike, or if you're a 77s fan, make sure, or any of the bands from the warehouse.
I will do that.
Okay. Until next time.
I'm Dr. Dwayne Vaughn.
And I'm Dr. Mark Vaughn telling you to stay in good health.
We'll see ya.